To begin with, business and immigration law. This will be presented here by that famous attorney, Attorney Ramesh Khurana, who is the chief attorney and counselor at the Khurana law firm. Today, the moderator here is Attorney Kenneth Haber from Boyd's, Maryland, and he has a set of questions for Attorney Khurana regarding different standards for degree for H-1B and labor certification requests. Now, that's a mouthful and yet a very valuable information-loaded segment. So come on over and let's join these two attorneys.
Welcome. My name's Kenneth Haber. I'm a former assistant United States attorney and a former senior attorney in the Office of Investigations of the United States Department of Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General. With me today is a dear friend and colleague who I've known for years, Ramesh Khurana. Welcome, Ramesh.
Thank you, Ken.
Ramesh is extremely knowledgeable in immigration law, and he's here to answer some tough questions that we have of him today. So with no further ado, I'm going to start asking Ramesh some questions. Ramesh, is it true that one must possess a college degree or its equivalent in order to apply for an H-1B visa?
This is the most important but basic requirement for people who want to apply for H-1B petition. They should understand it very well. Unless you can demonstrate in the petition that the attainment of the U.S. Bachelor degree is essential for this profession, only then H-1B visa will be granted, otherwise it would not be granted. So, Ken, as per the U.S. education system, now a person would spend 12 years in the school and then 4 years to obtain the college degree. So, basically a person is spending 16 years to obtain the bachelor degree. But in some of the countries like India, now they can spend 15 years and obtain the bachelor degree. Now, a few years back, this was not an issue, because if depending upon the courses which a person completed back home, and the evaluation company would give a good evaluation report by analyzing those credits and courses, USCIS would accept it, but not anymore. So, we call that 3-year bachelor degree now is in trouble. But the good news is, for the purpose of H-1B, if a person has a progressive work experience, that means after doing his bachelor degree in India, and let us say that person worked for more than 3 to 5 years or 6 years, each block of 3 years give the benefit of 1 year education. So, in that situation, you need to obtain the evaluation report based on the foreign degree plus work experience letter. But remember, this kind of work experience letter has to be a very detailed one, and it should give the detailed job duties for the evaluator to arrive at a conclusion that this would give the benefit of 1 year education.
Very good. In healthcare, they have to go through evaluations for accreditation to get to other schooling here in the United States.
That's true, yeah.
Could you please explain what an EB2 and an EB3 is?
Yeah, sure. When we talk about EB2 and EB3, now these are the concepts of obtaining the green card or lawful permanent resident status in the United States. For some countries, these categories are really very meaningful. Let us say for India, if a person's PERM application is filed and immigrant petition or I-140 petition is approved under EB2 category, there is the most favorable priority date, and sometimes you can get your green card in 4 to 5 years. But otherwise, if you are talking about EB3 category, at this point of time, it's taking more than 11, 12 years. So, that's the reason that people who filed EB3 category petition I-140 for their employees, now they are thinking about, or many people have so done, they have basically upgraded the situation from EB3 to EB2 petition. So, how it can be done is, let us say a person holds a master degree or a person has a progressive work experience of more than 5 years. So, bachelor plus 5 years or the master degree as per the US education equivalency, that person can qualify for EB2 category.
Very good. Can the foreign bachelor's degree be sufficient for the EB while it's not for the H-1B?
Yeah, again excellent question, Ken. Like for the purpose of H-1B, as I said earlier, you can combine your education and work experience, but the caveat is work experience must be a progressive work experience. When we say progressive work experience, that means he got this work experience after completing the bachelor degree. So, let us say a person has worked for 4 years, which is more than 3 years. So, for a block of 4 years, you get 1 year college education. So, it becomes equivalent to a bachelor degree for the purpose of H-1B, but unfortunately not the purpose of I-140 petition, because they would say unless you have spent 16 years for the bachelor degree and then 2 years for the master degree, it is not equivalent of a master degree. But again, you can overcome this problem if you have education equivalent to a bachelor degree and you have then 5 years of progressive work experience, which will become equivalent of a master degree, and you could be covered under EB2 category. There is a way out. You really need to talk to an experienced immigration lawyer.
Yeah, I would say so. Immigration law is every bit as complicated as
Very,
healthcare.
very complex, like tax laws or security laws, I would say.
Yes, I would think so.
Yeah.
Can you please explain in terms of the differences between the EB2 and the EB3 themselves?
Yeah, sure. Ken, we talked about this issue a little bit earlier. Under the EB2 category, for some nationality of people who are professionals, and if they are filing under EB2 category, their priority dates are more favorable than the EB3 category. But if you are talking about some countries, let us say about Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, because not many professionals are coming from those countries, and even EB3 more or less are current, but not for nations of India and China. So, their preferable route is always to go for EB2 category. Yeah.
What's a PERM application?
PERM application stands for Program Electronic Review Management. Now, this is the program for the labor certification which was introduced in 2005, which replaced the old form which was ETA 750, and this is an online attestation of what the employer wants to say. So, you file application online under the PERM application by going to the portal of US Department of Labor, and once you have filed it, and most of the times again depending upon the processing time, nowadays it is about 4 months, a decision would be made, either it will be certified or they may ask for the audit. And if it goes for audit, then there is a long queue. They are going to look at all the background documentation which you created when you are going through the employment or recruitment process, whether you really made those true statements, whatever you stated online. So, that is the kind of audit requirement, and there is a long queue.
Well, what's the I-140 and how does that relate to all these?
Ken, Form I-140 is the immigrant petition. So, this is the second stage for the green card process for those people who are endeavoring to obtain green cards through the employment route. So, I-140 comes into the picture as soon as the PERM application is certified. So, PERM application is valid for 6 months for the purpose of filing an immigrant or I-140 petition. So, within 6 months the employer needs to file the I-140 petition, and there are certain issues which will be taken care of at the stage of filing of I-140.
What are some of those issues when you file the I-140?
Sure. I would say the important ones are, first one is the financial ability to pay. When you file the PERM application, there is a concept of prevailing wage determination. That is the first stage. You file the prevailing wage determination request to the US Department of Labor, and it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to obtain the prevailing wage determination back. And once the prevailing wage determination has been obtained, so basically you cannot pro-offer the salary less than the prevailing wage determination, because that is the industry-wide trend. And when you file the labor certification request, then you have to show that you are offering a minimum wage level of not less than prevailing wage. You can offer more than that. So that is one thing. When you come to the stage of filing I-140, you have got to prove that the employer has the financial ability to pay to the employee who has been recruited through the PERM process the pro-offered wage level in the PERM application, and it is a very tricky situation. Sometimes employers are not able to prove that, and unfortunately I-140s get denied even at this stage. You have gone through a very arduous process of filing PERM applications and finally got it certified, and then you are unable to prove the financial ability to pay. Yeah, please.
Yeah. What if the employer can afford it and can prove he can afford it, and has a side agreement with the employee that once the employee comes over, he's not going to be paid it, so the employer can save money?
Right.
How does the government check on that? What do they do to make sure that they're on the up and up?
You know, for the purpose of I-140, as I was saying, it's a question of proving the financial ability to pay. So employer can prove in two ways. Number one is showing the net income on the tax return. Let's say that is an S corporation filing 1040. So you say that you are making a net income of at least equivalent to or more than the pro-offered wage. If the pro-offered wage is $100,000 and net ordinary income is $101,000, you pass. So other way is that if you have already hired an employee and he is getting paid by the employer and his W-2 is equivalent to or more than the prevailing wage, then you can meet this burden by showing the W-2 of that employee, and you will make an argument that this employee has already been paid $101,000 by the employer, which demonstrate that the employer has the financial ability to pay to the employee, which is equivalent to or more than the pro-offered prevailing wage. So that's another way. Sometimes, you know, like you said, sometimes certain employers are really having a very difficult situation. They do not make the required net income as per the tax return, and the W-2 of the employee is also not equivalent to or more than the pro-offered wage. Then we have to prove that under the totality of the circumstances, let us say the company is an S corporation, is owned by husband and wife, then we can look back and even talk about salaries which were paid to the husband and wife team, because this is discretionary in nature. If they do not withdraw the salary, let us say they are withdrawing $150,000 each, and if one of them decides to relinquish the salary and not to withdraw, whatever net income is left, that is going to be distributed by way of K-1s anyways. So we can say that this is discretionary in the nature, and the husband has now decided not to withdraw any salary now onward. So $150,000 will be saved by the company, and if you adjust $150,000, so net ordinary income of the company goes up, and which is going to take care of the financial ability to pay. Now another quick comment I would like to make here, Ken, when we are talking about the essential factors which are taken into account at the time of approval of immigrant petition, is the education level. Now you said that you need a person with a master degree, and then you said you need a person with a master degree in computer science, and person doesn't hold a master degree in computer science. He holds a master degree, let us say, in information system, and you required only computer science. So that doesn't work. Then that way I-140 would fail.
It seems, though, that the I-140 test is basically static. It's what did you produce previously, not what are you going to be able to produce with this new productive individual. And it seems to me that there should be some calculation in there as far as what are we going to be able to generate with this additional laborer.
No, in fact, that's not taken into account. As you said, this is a snapshot, balance sheet is a snapshot, so tax return is a snapshot on a particular date. This is what counts.
I'd like to really thank you for coming on in and elucidating on these topics, because they really, I'm sure, confusing to many, and you put it in plain English. Thank
Always
you.
my pleasure, Ken. Thank you.